A few days ago, my mom sent me a text. Did Kobe Bryant really die, or was that fake news? I told her I would look into it, expecting it to be a tabloid or a joke publication. The first network to report it was TMZ, and I thought, okay, this is probably a joke. And then LA Times, New York Times, CNN, and endless reports started coming up on Google. After an hour of reading through all the news networks, I was still in disbelief, just waiting for someone to say that this was all a big prank by Kobe. But I knew at that point I was avoiding reality. One of my biggest role models of my life tragically died at the age of 41, when he still had so much life to live and give. I was deeply affected by his death because I viewed him more than just a great basketball player. I viewed him more as a great man, someone I wanted to model my life after. I wanted to make this video dedicated to how Kobe Bryant has impacted my life and to honor his memory and life's work. One thing I loved about Kobe is that he was multicultural. I always got the vibe that he wasn't just representing Black American culture or just basketball culture. He was representing other cultures, other countries, other genders, other sports. I remember when I first saw him do an interview where he was speaking fluent Italian and my jaw just dropped.
In italiano?
Dai, facciamo.
L'emozione e l'onore di ricevere un premio come Bishamman Award, cosa significa per te, per la tua fondazione, con tua moglie?
Sì, no, significa tutto per noi. Siamo una famiglia che capiamo che è molto, molto importante fare le cose che sono più grandi di te stesso.
I always thought that was way more badass than some of his 360 dunks, although that's pretty sick too. If you don't know this by now, he spent much of his younger years in Italy before he moved back to the US in high school, which is probably why he had a much broader worldview than so many other NBA basketball players. I always felt like he was trying to be himself, which is hard to do when you're immersed in urban, popular, entertainment, and sports culture, where it's all about who looks the swaggiest and who can act the coolest. But I always felt that he was much more concerned about who he wanted to be, much more than what other people thought about him. And that's something that I strive to do as well. His work ethic was insane. There are so many stories of him coming to a gym a few hours before a game or practice, working on his moves, and then staying later to continue working on his skills. He absolutely had his own standards to live up to and nobody else's. I actually just read an article where Allen Iverson shared a story about when him and Kobe Bryant were rookies, and after a game they were talking about what they were going to do because they were young and just started their NBA careers. Allen Iverson said he was going to go to the club, and Kobe Bryant said he's going to go to the gym. He was so dedicated to his craft. He was a huge fan of Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is also one of my biggest role models, so the fact that we looked up to the same person was awesome. I could also tell that Kobe understood Bruce Lee beyond the flashy martial artist and big movie star that he was. In Kobe's own words, Bruce Lee was always one of my muses growing up. I've read everything he's ever written. I've watched every film he's ever been in, and I've watched pretty much every interview he's ever done. He was really big on sharing his knowledge and hoped he could inspire, not to learn how to fight, but through the art of fighting, learn how to be a better person. That's what I want to pass on to future generations. What's even crazier is that Kobe created a separate shoe in honor of the great Bruce Lee. It's tragic how both Bruce and Kobe died so young in their career when they were just getting started. Kobe revolutionized the shoe industry by pushing a low-top design that provided ankle support, breaking the myth that only high-top shoes provided ample ankle support. I used to only wear Asics and Mizuno shoes, thinking they were the best options for volleyball. When I decided to branch out of the typical volleyball shoes, the first non-volleyball shoe I bought was the Kobe 6s, and it is still my favorite shoe of all time to this day. Kobe wasn't just happy selling shoes and being sponsored by Nike. He wanted to make a shoe that would meet his demands and his standards, even if it meant breaking the rules. He was also known for women empowerment and actively promoting female sports. One of my favorite interviews of Kobe was when he was asked who was going to carry on his legacy since he didn't have a boy and only had daughters.
The thing that happens is when we go out and fans will come up to me and she'll be standing next to me and they'll be like, hey, you gotta have a boy, you and V gotta have a boy, man. You have somebody carry on the tradition, the legacy. She's like, oh, I got this. You know, boy for that, I got you.
It is a family affair here at the Aces season opener. I'm joined by the Bryants, Kobe and Gigi. What would it be like to one day be a WNBA player?
I think it means everything. Everything.
Lastly is world famous mamba mentality. What's crazy is that I just made a video dedicated to Kobe Bryant 3 months ago about the mamba mentality and how I applied it to my volleyball game. I'll leave that video in the description box if you want to learn more about that. So many people have talked about how they've applied the mamba mentality not just to their own sport, but to other areas in their life to achieve their own success. If you only know Kobe Bryant as the basketball star, I encourage you to learn more about his life off the court. Listen to his interviews and read what others have said about him. I guarantee that your life will be elevated just by simply learning about his life. My love and condolences go out to all the friends and families of the 9 people who died in that tragic helicopter crash. I'm especially saddened by the death of his daughter, who was just starting her journey to becoming a legend. I can't imagine what it's like for his wife, Vanessa, and the other daughters to never kiss, hug, talk to, and make new memories with Kobe and Gigi. I encourage you guys to tell your loved ones how much they mean to you today. Now, I would love to hear what Kobe Bryant means to you and how he has impacted your life in the comment section. Let's keep his memory alive and continue his legacy by living out his life values. I miss you, Kobe. Rest in peace.